co-living is exploding across the country. However, there are markets where there's a ton of them, and there's markets where there's hardly anything. I don't know where you live or where people are watching live, but is it happening which way in your market? Let's talk a little bit more about that. So in another video, I shared that affordability, the affordability crisis is a problem everywhere in the United States. And then as a whole. But then it's, are there some states that it's a bigger problem, or why is it happening in some states and not others? So yes, as an investor, you're going to want to be aware of what are the current co-living trends, where is it working better and where is it not? So the first piece you need to know is it's very similar to normal rentals. Okay, so the Sunbelt states, right, landlord-friendly places is going to be way more likely to have co-living than not. Because in all reality, think about it this way. You do one rental with one family, or you're doing really 8 to 9 rentals, right? You have one house, but you have 8 to 9 people. So you could have a problem with any one of them where there could be eviction more, right? So very, very quickly, you're going up in units, you're going up in transactions, etc. So you could be dealing with a lot more evictions and problems that way. So the landlord-tenant laws matter. So you're gonna see a lot more in those states. And a really good way to get a grasp on that is to go to PadSplit.com. So PadSplit is basically a marketing company for co-living. They are very good, people come to them, and they have other people's inventory, and they fill it, okay? They market for those people. So they have their core markets, which is the markets that they are in. They also have non-core markets, which are markets where maybe someone like me says, hey, I wanna open up a PadSplit or a co-living property in here, but that's not a core market, which means they're not marketing to that area yet for people, which makes it harder for them to fill, but they'll still allow you to come on the platform and do it. So in short, if you go on to PadSplit.com and you're able to look at the map and see how many units are there and what markets are they in, that's gonna tell you, because a big company like that that's also involved with Mark Cuban and everything like that, guess what? They're gonna go where the opportunity is the best, where they feel like they can make the biggest impact, etc. And you should probably follow suit to a certain degree, right? I always tell people that same thing. When you're trying to find a market of population size, I tell people, well, first off, if they don't have a Walmart, it's probably too small, right? So and the reason I say that is not just because, yes, that's related to population. It's Walmart, one of the biggest companies, does so much research before they go put a Walmart somewhere that they know they're gonna have enough people coming. Let them go do 90% of the research and make that decision and go put that store there. And now you can assume to a certain level, still do your homework, to a certain level you can assume based on that certain things. And I want anyone watching, I would say do the same thing with PadSplit. If they're in a core market, they have done a certain amount of research to a certain point. And I know that they always have new markets that they're gonna expand to. So just stay on top of it with that. But can you do it anywhere? You absolutely can. You just might not have companies like PadSplit or other investors doing it there to rely on. Yes, we need to leverage these companies that are spending millions and millions of dollars doing research. We want to leverage them so we can try to use that information to make our decisions. But at the same time, if more and more people are doing it in that location, is there a saturation problem, and are we still fulfilling an actual need? And is there a real problem that might arise from there? Well, problems might always arise anywhere, but I would say if you follow where most of the money's going by bigger players that have researched more, you're probably pretty safe beyond the saturation point, okay? Or I would say, in regards to other things, maybe. Saturation can be a real thing if you think about Airbnb and think about, well, Airbnb's in this market, so can I just do Airbnb? Well, you gotta do your own research too, right? Because Airbnb has also seen a turn. and things are a little bit different. Now, I think Airbnb and co-living is dramatically different because it's fulfilling a different need completely, and you can actually be saturated with how many hotels are in a certain area and how many vacation spots, etc. Like, you don't need the whole street, every house on every street to be a vacation rental. That's saturated, right? That's overkill. Could that happen with co-living is the question. Well, the very first and biggest thing I want everyone to hear loud and clear is we are so far away from that idea, it's not even funny, okay? The demand for affordable housing, no matter how many I'm pumping out and these other, millions and billions of dollars is being spent on affordable housing, it's been a losing battle. It's getting worse, not better, right? With Airbnb, it's like, oh my gosh, we're bringing more and more of this in here, so people are having more choices, and we're fulfilling, the need is actually shrinking because we're fulfilling it. No matter how hard we work to fill this, it is getting worse. So I would argue, I don't know where that saturation point is, and I think that saturation point keeps moving further away no matter what we do. So I feel like we have an obligation to help, though, try and fulfill that need. So I don't worry about saturation to a certain extent on a grand scale. Would I, in a market, want to know where other co-living units are in relation to mine? Yes, because every investment property I do, I want to know what the competition's doing, how much are they charging versus what I'm charging, etc. So that, yes, absolutely. A couple of them come to mind. Number one would be the landlord-friendly versus non-friendly environment, okay? Very quickly, you could take an investment property that on paper looks great, but because of any issues that pop up, it's important to know how to handle those, how much it's going to cost to handle those, both in fees, but also missing revenue. Right? With evictions, if someone's in that property, not just are they not paying you, you're not making any money, you're gonna have to be spending money to try to do that. And depending on who your tenants are, there might not be money to go after, to collect, or anything like that. So you need to take all that into account. So there are certain areas for sure where, personally, California, New York, some of these type of places, I have zero interest in there. Are other investors doing it there? Yes, and anybody can. But me, those are some of the reasons I stay out of those locations. So that's one red flag, would be landlord that. If there's any other states with some, that comes out with new regulations that just make it difficult, why am I trying to paddle up a stream in a canoe against the current? There's a giant problem here that I'm trying to solve. I would much rather, I'm trying to grab as many boats and connect them. And, if you've ever, here in Arizona, we have the Salt River, but people have, their rivers and kayaking and whatnot and tubing. I mean, if it's just you tubing and kayaking, you're gonna have a good time? Or would you rather tie all your tubes together and kind of float down as a group, or everyone have their kayaks and do it with you? That is so much more fun, and you're actually gonna accomplish so much more. Oh my gosh, yes. We're not gonna tie that, we're not gonna turn the canoe around and start going upstream, and then I also have someone else going downstream. We're not gonna turn the canoe around and start going upstream, and then I also have someone else going downstream. You just said tied together or pulling me. It's like, are you kidding me? How many people could I have helped, right? And I hope and pray that some of these other locations that maybe it's not as easy to do, the right regulation will come in, allowing it to be done even easier and better. New York, no. California, no. Oregon, no. Ohio, yes. Indiana, yes. Georgia, yes. So yeah, hopefully from there, that gives people a vibe of at least my personal preference. So guys, it's a big need. So my last thought is it's a big need. I'm hoping to do a lot more of these interviews and these type of YouTube videos to share and expose the problem, get more people involved. Even right now, we're doing a fractional raise. So fractional, which the raise will probably be over by the time this video goes, but where we already have co-living properties, and we'll allow people to come in and either be a lender involved or an actual owner involved in those properties that we already have either almost up and running or fully operational. So that's just an example, but there are so many ways that people can get involved to really help this, whether it be maybe you want to go try to help find more properties like this, right? The more we find, the more we can create and make operational this to help more people. Maybe you're the boots on the ground for that area and location. Maybe you're the connection to the city and the council. And so you can help build that rapport and the relationships to, hey, how do we do this how you as a city want it done? So I implore people, I mean, if you like this type of stuff, I'm hoping people like and subscribe to this video and leave in the comments. But like, yes, I could help here, I could do this. I'd love to hear that from people.